Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. We debut a brand new show called Motormouth and Wild Bill Winters. And, well, Wild Bill, welcome to the big show, our show.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
All right. How are you doing? You looking forward to this?
I'm doing awesome. Another beautiful day in America.
That's right. So, all right. So, Bill, let's talk about our first program here and what we want it to be or what you feel it should be.
Well, I just think our show should discuss a variety of topics of relevance and get people up to speed on some topics that they may be a step behind on, so we have a better tomorrow.
Very good. And, we're going to talk about sports topics. There'll be some times when we don't talk about sports topics. We'll talk about some of your experiences. Those will be determined as we obviously get ready for every program. But tonight we're going to lead it off with a lot of sports, since we certainly definitely feel there are enough headlines going on. Now we're going to lead it off in a town for which you live in, and that's Houston, Texas. And let's talk about the Houston Astros, the larger payroll versus a smaller payroll, the Tampa Bay Rays. Are people nervous in the Houston area about Game 5 tomorrow night?
Anybody who says they're not nervous is lying. Anything can happen in a ball game. Take a look at what happened today in the first inning of the Cardinals-Atlanta game, up 10-0. Okay, so there's a trickle-down effect. They got to bring their A game.
Well,
they want to win Game 5 here in Houston.
Well, you had the Houston Astros with a larger payroll, and they bought their first championship. Obviously, they developed a lot of their players against a payroll like the Tampa Bay Rays, who are about $63 million. Pretty ironic contrast between the two organizations. Wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yes. One is the master of Moneyball, and the other one is how you build a franchise by sandbagging for several years so you be able to corner all the talent. I've seen the evolution of the Astros. I've been living out here since 2009. The first couple of years, the Astros were probably not even as good as some AAA teams. And they just kept stockpiling players, and now they have a winning team. So that's the blueprint for some markets, like the Sixers, the Astros. Now we have the Dolphins doing it. And then we have the other organizations that are smaller market teams, like the A's and the Rays, that have to basically use analytics and a lot of information in order to compete with the larger markets.
Well, the Detroit Tigers are definitely going through the same process as well, and obviously you have to be very, very bad and endure 100 loss seasons, or in some cases, depending on the sport, it could be 50 or 60 loss seasons, as well as what goes on in football. So, yeah, you're definitely right about that. So, what do you expect tomorrow night from the Astros and the Rays? Do you think that, obviously, a very highly contested series between, I don't think a lot of people expected the Rays to even win one game, let alone the fact that they've squared this at 2.
Well, I had them at least winning one game. You have to forget they won, I believe, 97 games. Win 97 games during the regular season without having really good pitching and players that can deliver in key moments. So that's the first misnomer. This is Major League Baseball. And, these teams aren't gods. You have small market teams that can compete.
And they did it
spend their money the right way.
And they did it in a division where you have the New York Yankees. The Boston Red Sox are big spenders. Of course, the Baltimore Orioles have gone downhill. And the Toronto Blue Jays, it's hard for them to spend in Canada because of the exchange rate. But yet they've been somewhat competitive. But, yeah, I mean, the Rays have definitely done a great job developing their own talent, and when one guy leaves, they leave. And then they're able to bring in some solid veterans to kind of fill things out a little bit. So they definitely have the blueprint for how it's done. But, the Astros, obviously, they have Garrett Cole, they have Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, and everybody thought you talk about a 3-horse monster, and the Rays have rocked Greinke, and they hammered Verlander. So it's all up to Cole. And I don't know whether he'll even be back next year, but it looks like you have 2 Cy Young Award possibilities for Houston, and now it's a winner-take-all situation over in H-Town.
Yeah, and a lot of people are really confident in Cole. I will tell you, I've watched him get shelled once in a while during the course of the season. So a lot of it's going to depend on how he opens up and how he handles his emotions, and whether or not he's able to get his stuff over the plate, and whether his fastball is moving. And we saw what happened with Verlander on 3 days rest, and that ball was not tearing, it wasn't moving, and he claims he couldn't get his breaking ball over the plate, and he got hammered.
Wow.
So you have to understand, that sometimes the guys that during the regular season they have hiccups, and you just hope it's not a hiccup during the playoffs.
First of all, I think the Tampa Bay Rays are on house money, Bill. They are. And they know that. They can sit there and play off the house money. Kevin Cash is the most underrated manager in baseball. Joe Madden won with that organization and was able to get something out of them. And you know what? With all due respect, the Houston Astros have done a nice job building, and A.J. Hinch has done a really good job over there as well. But you know what? In a winner-take-all situation, you mentioned this earlier, you had the Cardinals and the Braves, a great series up until the final game today, and I watched that. I knew that I could start preparing for these broadcasts earlier when that game was decided early with a 10-0 spot. And, again, I'm wondering whether there's another blowout to be had. There certainly will be a lot of intrigue tomorrow night, without a doubt, Bill. So,
well, the Cardinals have had that tradition, of winning pennants, and they just impose their will on the Braves. And let's hope that the Rays don't impose their will on the Astros.
Very good. Okay.
So it's a mind game at this level.
Well,
so
yeah.
Who comes in focused is going to hit the ball and get the ball over the plate. So it comes down to mental acuity at this time of year.
All right, let's stay
that's what the young kids need to understand.
Let's stay in the city of Houston, okay, and then we'll go on to other subjects. The NBA, obviously, we talked about is a league that's just looking to generate revenue, and now we have the fiasco in China with the Houston Rockets and Daryl Morey making that tweet that he did, which is unfavorable, and that seems like we have a really bad situation out there, Bill, originating from the town for which you reside in. What's your take on that?
Well, the first thing is that, I'm not a real big fan of Twitter. I think all it does is agitate people because it's too instantaneous as far as opinions, and sometimes people tweet things in emotions and then people run with it. And that seems to be the game these days. And I have to laugh. This guy is the general manager of the Houston Rockets. And, the bottom line is you should general manage and stay out of politics. All right, so he tweets something and not educated enough to know, that this is going to cost them potentially billions, all right, because of his inability to understand the other side of the world and how they think. And this is one of the things that, I'm hoping in our show that we can start talking about hiring and stuff so our youngsters start thinking for themselves before they send the tweet out. The more educated you are, the more you stay away from the media, the more you let your actions do your talking for you.
Right.
Because I watched this stuff, one time I was getting all this press for doing nothing. Right. And it really kind of surprised me, and I was almost like, be one of those people, I'm not even going to talk to the press because they're making a mountain out of a molehill, and it's not fair. And now here it is 35 or 40 years later, and now we have an accelerator called Twitter,
right.
And we have people that get on there because they have nothing else to do, and then they send out a tweet, and the next thing you know, now it's affecting the world, and then you have political agendas, so it's for me, it's like stirring up a witch's brew at times.
Yeah,
I think Daryl's really sorry that he did it, but these issues now come out, and now you're starting to see the dynamic of what I talked about a long time ago, from the outhouse to the penthouse is somewhere in between.
Right.
And this is really what I'm looking forward to in my show, is being able to have people be able to talk about an issue, break it down, and understand the dynamics, and go to a higher decision-making moving forward so our country
Well, now NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has to find a way to figure out this mess, number one. And what's amazingly about the Rockets is, Yao Ming used to play there. So, of all places and players, Yao Ming being a former Rocket, you got to wonder what he's actually thinking. My goodness, an organization.
Oh, he's so angry right now, it's unreal.
Is he?
There's no doubt about that. And the thing I will say to you really quickly, okay, is that if the NBA, if they really stand for social justice, would withdraw out of China. But unfortunately, you have a dynamic called the largest market for the NBA,
right?
And they're not going to walk away from all that money. All right, and that's where the hypocrisy comes from.
Right.
And that's the things that we need to talk about today, because not everything is about the brand, not everything is about money, okay? And people that are highly educated understand that.
Well,
and I think we're at a point right now where the younger generation is starting to realize that. I don't think socialism is the answer, but being more educated and having corporate America make the right decisions, and I think through shows like this will only help us come together.
Well, I even heard, too, that now China doesn't want to broadcast those NBA games there. So, yeah, you're definitely, it validates your point even further, Bill, that, all of a sudden, what could have been an excellent broadcasting situation because of the bad decision-making by Daryl Morey. And, of course, I think the owner's trying to defend his general manager as being one of the best general managers out there. But no matter how you think you can cover this thing up, you're not going to do it because the damage has been done. It's already been screenshotted all over the place. And now everybody's talking about the NBA for all the wrong reasons. And to be frankly honest with you, Bill, I don't care about the NBA like I used to many years ago when I was covering it with the Pistons, because I call it the NDL, the National Drama League, and I really can't stand the league. I'm very reluctant to bring guests on there because I'm sick and tired of the fact that all these guys talk. These guys do talk, and they're playing is on the back burner. So I don't go out of my way to purchase the NBA package at all. When I watch a lot of these things, I just simply don't do it. So, but I know there'll be times when we bring it up.
I understand that. There's a lot of people who feel that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are getting to the point now where they're turning off the TV set. Right. Because we're getting away from the essence of sports and we're starting to politicize everything.
Right.
And that goes directly with handing young people a lot of money and them not being educated to understand that maybe they should keep their mouth shut and use different platforms in different arenas to affect social change. Let me give you a couple of numbers just so I can give you that. There's 1.5 billion people in China. They are the backbone of the finances for the NBA. All right, they almost twice as many people in China watch NBA games and spend money than Americans. So it's not even the most popular sport in the United States. It's the most popular sport in China. Okay. When you do something like Daryl Morey did, it's going to affect players' salaries.
Right.
And the trickle-down effect hasn't even started yet.
Right.
And you have a lot of corporations that are pulling the plug, getting out. And the United States is in a situation right now where they have to stand up for what they've been talking about because, it's easy to move a ball game from Charlottesville for a bathroom because there's no money involved in it. But now there's a lot of money involved in it, so we're going to see if they're for real. And the bottom line is, and this is the thing that I hope you guys understand, it's always about the money.
Right.
And some of us have been victims of this over our careers. We are educated, we're able to survive, and we're more than just athletes. We're well-rounded people that are educated and solid citizens, and we believe in our country, and we want people to have an opportunity to live their dreams. Okay, and this is one of the things why we want to talk about these topics, because who the NBA answers to is Nike.
Right. Good point.
Okay, so Nike's controlling everything, and what does Nike answer to? China.
Right.
So when you have the pecking order like that, okay, you have to understand that the United States is basically being a coward right now.
Yeah.
By